When you load up this game, you realize you are playing in a world where smog, pollution and rampant lethal viruses have driven out humanity. Yes, you are in fact playing in a game based on the current view of China's capital, Beijing. And if that doesn't get me banned, I don't know what will. But in fact, what is the premise of this game? Well, you may have to fill in the gaps yourself, as it is a little light on details when you start with just a few generic clips of modern-day Los Angeles, followed by some sort of a Minecraft block dropping through the sky, and then you are in. And of course, being the free-thinking open-world survivalist you are, you let out an audible sigh so loud your cat gets startled when you recognize that you are going to have to unlock the story. Which means reading lots of little notes and similar such things, which happens to be your least favourite thing to do in games, but sometimes you just have to roll with the blows, even those crunchy nutsack ones.
This, Bobby, is the belt line. You never ever hit below that.
And on that note, if you've ever wondered if the pain is the same for a man and a woman in this regards, then please consider a sub and a like. And maybe a comment describing in detail when this happened to you, purely for everybody's entertainment. What you can figure out is that the game is based around old derelict skyscrapers where you scavenge materials to not just keep your food and water levels up, but to also build things in your Zeppelin, and here it is in all its glory. Now, being the swatty pants that you are, you know the strange word Zeppelin means a large cylindrical rigid airship named after its German inventor Ferdinand von Zeppelin, which started flying in 1910, transporting passengers, and was also used in World War I. At the time, they were thought to be the way of future travel until in 1937 this happened.
Rushing to the rescue, the heroes of the tragedy dash in, heedless of danger, to help the injured to safety, while others, beyond help, perish in the flames.
Not surprisingly, passengers were slightly reluctant to use them after that, also remembering a lot of the passengers looked a little bit like this.
See how camels agree with your throat.
Not a great mix, really. Now, as you stare down, you do wonder if the planet has created a defense mechanism, a way to lure unwary travellers to their deaths by mesmerising them with hypnotic swirling winds. It requires an inhuman effort to not jump down into those soft, velvety mists and become part of that beautiful scene. But at this point, you do realise that you're almost 3 minutes or so into the video and you've said virtually nothing about the game, and probably all Gen Z watchers have long since moved on to the next video. And if you happen to be one of those, this may make you feel a little bit more comfortable.
Two figures resolving in the room.
As your airship develops, you first off tackle those age-old survivor issues, food and water, but in this game there is also energy or stamina. With your handy-dandy fabricator, you make a research lab, and with that you will research other items which you in turn make back with your fabricator. It all makes sense. Like a bed, moth catcher, cooking pot and water purifier, honestly, what else would you ever really need? But as you move from a one-room bedsit to a two-room apartment, you start to feel like this could really be home, as you begin the probably endless task of shuffling items around as your floating home grows and expands. To make things even cozier, the weather here is rather changeable, with rainstorms, thunder, which even though it greatly reduces your visibility, just makes you want to tuck up in bed and drift off to sleep. Early game progress will be measured by reaching towers, which can take a bit of time with fuel running out quite a bit, but that fuel is fortunately easily made. Then you are up and away again, flying towards those blinking lights like a moth to your porch light. Moths will be an early staple of your diet, but the devs clearly don't understand that moths are extremely threatened in many parts of the world. Of interest, when I was young here in New Zealand, moths were everywhere, swarming your lights and causing the little girls to run around shrieking. Now they are very scarce, So much for the clean, green nature of New Zealand. Don't believe everything you read. It isn't all mountains and hobbits falling out of trees. Maybe a nice way to think of this game, it is a bit like island hopping. The trips in between are relatively uneventful. Perhaps the main problem is that the islands are a bit alike. There is variation, but it is a bit like the variation in hands. They can look different, but they're still just hands, and they don't really hold that many surprises for us. You will find those travel times in your airship very comforting, safe from the viruses lurking in the world, and the hum of your ship. Wow, it's very, very restful. There is no doubt a lot of story to this game, as quite quickly your database is flashing with tons of unread lore and details on tech and things you've come across, and you remind yourself to put aside 30 minutes a day to read it all and to absorb it. With the info presented, you realise this is not DayZ, this is not hardcore, more soft. Survival, you mean. You of course didn't mean hardcore porn. Eventually, having scanned enough items which unlock new tech for you, you then make your way to the Tyrell Corporation building, whereupon you will take a lift down to the planet's surface. But in this case, the planet's surface, although very well put together, feels more like exploring a sequence of rooms and corridors. It's pretty cool, no doubt about it, but you may feel just a little bit let down. Now, if being an explorer wasn't enough, at some point to progress you will need to pull on your lab coat, go out into the field and collect exotic goods to analyse in your virus sampler. You can see the devs spent quite some time on this process, but it makes no sense to you, so you pretty much just randomly click things until you see a pattern and then make some progress. Not quite a master's in biochemistry perhaps, but I guess it looks pretty. To top it all off, the game provides you a jump scare.
Look out.
Then to smooth your frayed nerves, a cute little pet, which sits happily on your pillow in your airship making gentle snoring sounds. But you're not sure that he will make the best sleeping companion. On reflection, you realise that this is not really open world survival, more a linear story driven experience set in a very open looking world. Is it fun? Yes. Is it going to be the Galactus of the next great gaming experience? Probably not. However, it is still early access and the devs are still making changes to it, and I'm sure these will elevate it to maybe Silver Surfer level. Thanks for watching, my friends, and see you in the next chapter.